She wore a headscarf. She blogged about chemo. She prayed for healing. And she lied about all of it. For nearly a decade, Amanda Riley convinced the world she was dying of cancer, while pocketing thousands in donations and sympathy. This wasn't just a scam, it was a performance, a betrayal, a masterclass in manipulation. If you think you've heard it all, you haven't heard Scamanda. Subscribe and stay with us, because the truth behind this lie is darker than anyone imagined. She was a mother, a wife, a Christian, a blogger, a fighter. Amanda Riley had it all, and she was dying. Or so she said. For nearly a decade, Amanda convinced hundreds of people she was battling Hodgkin's lymphoma. She blogged about her pain, her treatments, her faith. She posted selfies from hospital beds, shared stories of remission and relapse, and rallied a community around her. She raised over 100,000 in donations. She received gifts, support, and sympathy from strangers and loved ones alike. But Amanda Riley never had cancer. This is the story of one of the most elaborate and disturbing frauds in recent memory. A scam so personal, so calculated, and so cruel, it left a trail of emotional wreckage across the country. This is the story of Scamanda. Act 1. The origin of Amanda Riley. Amanda Maneri was born in San Jose, California in 1985. She was a cheerleader, a dancer, and a charismatic young woman with a flair for performance. Her early life was marked by charm and ambition, but also a pattern of manipulation. At 17, Amanda met Corey Riley, a 29-year-old father whose daughter was undergoing cancer treatment. Amanda was hired to teach dance to Corey's daughter, Jamie, who was immunocompromised and battling leukemia. Amanda quickly became close to the family. Corey divorced his wife, Aletta, and later married Amanda. Amanda and Corey had 2 sons together, whom Amanda would later call her miracle babies. But behind the scenes, Amanda's life was already marked by deception. College classmates recalled Amanda frequently citing illness to excuse absences. She often claimed to be sick, exhausted, or undergoing treatment, long before her public cancer narrative began. It was a pattern, a rehearsal. Act 2. The blog that built a lie. In 2012, Amanda launched a blog titled "Lymphoma Can Suck It." She claimed she had been diagnosed with stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma shortly after giving birth to her first son. The blog chronicled her journey, the chemo, the hospital visits, the emotional toll. She posted photos of herself hooked up to IVs, lying in hospital beds, and smiling through the pain. Her writing was raw, emotional, and hopeful. She spoke of her faith, her family, and her fight. She became a symbol of resilience in her church and community. People rallied around her. They wore Team Amanda shirts. They hosted fundraisers. They donated money, lots of it. Amanda received over $100,000 in donations. Some came through her blog, others through church events, restaurant fundraisers, and online campaigns. She was gifted trips, concert tickets, babysitting services, and even a signed guitar from Leanne Rimes. Her story was everywhere, and it was a lie. Act 3. The fraud deepens. Amanda's deception wasn't just emotional, it was logistical. She forged medical records. She fabricated doctor's letters. She staged hospital photos using borrowed equipment. She even used false medical information to reduce her husband's child support payments. She alternated between remission and relapse at least 4 times from 2012 to 2016. Each relapse brought a new wave of sympathy and donations. Amanda became a fixture at Family Community Church in San Jose, where she spoke publicly about her diagnosis. She was praised for her strength and faith. But every scam has a crack. And Amanda's came in the form of a former friend named Nancy Moscatiello. Nancy had known Amanda for years. She followed her blog, supported her journey, and believed in her fight. But something didn't sit right. The photos looked staged. The timeline didn't add up. The attention Amanda was receiving felt off. Nancy began digging. She read every blog post. She cross-referenced details. She noticed inconsistencies. And eventually, she tipped off federal investigators. Act 4. The investigation. In July 2020, IRS Special Investigator Arlette Lyons-Lee officially charged Amanda Riley with wire fraud. The charges stemmed from her blog, social media posts, and donation links that were specifically for her supposed cancer treatment. Since Amanda never had cancer, donations made digitally to support her medical expenses constituted wire fraud. Amanda initially pleaded not guilty. Her attorneys requested a 6-month prison sentence, citing her role as a mother and community member. But the evidence was overwhelming. She had forged letters from doctors, falsified medical records, created fake bills and certifications. She even sought a restraining order against Nancy Moscatiello to stop the investigation, a move that ultimately failed. In October 2021, Amanda pleaded guilty to wire fraud. In 2022, Judge Beth Labson Freeman sentenced her to 5 years in prison, 3 years of supervised probation, and ordered her to pay restitution plus interest to all 349 donors. Act 5, the aftermath. Amanda's victims weren't just donors. They were friends, family, church members, people who had lost loved ones to cancer, people who had opened their hearts and wallets to support someone they believed was fighting for her life. The emotional toll was immense. Some felt betrayed. Others felt foolish. Many struggled to reconcile the Amanda they knew with the woman who had deceived them. Her husband, Corey Riley, was never charged in connection with the scheme. He now lives in Texas with their children. Amanda, after serving time in Texas, was transferred to a residential re-entry center in Southern California. She is scheduled for release before the end of 2025. Act 6, the media storm. The Scamanda podcast, hosted by Charlie Webster, and the ABC docuseries of the same name, brought Amanda's story to national attention. Through interviews with investigators, victims, and Amanda's former friends, the series explores how she pulled off her elaborate scheme and why it took so long to catch her. Amanda's story is a cautionary tale. It's a reminder of how easily trust can be exploited, how social media can be weaponized, how sympathy can be turned into currency. But it's also a story about resilience, not Amanda's, but the resilience of those she hurt, the people who spoke out, the friends who asked questions, the investigators who followed the trail, the community that refused to stay silent. The woman behind the mask, Amanda, Riley, built a world around a lie. She lived it. She profited from it. And she watched as hundreds of people believed in her until the truth came crashing down. She was a mother, a wife, a Christian, a blogger, a fighter. But she was never a cancer patient. She was Scamanda.